going to follow up this week with our last week topic, which was talking about our book, Reflective Meditation, Cultivating Kindness and Curiosity in the Buddhist Company. And at the end of the book, we added in Nelly's glossary. And it's a glossary of terms, of Dharma terms, from a unique and creative perspective, or I think, Nelly, as you said it, the meanderings of your mind.
Yes, I did say that. And our minds didn't stop meandering with the publication of the glossary. So we're going to meander some more today.
We're going to meander and we're actually going to add a word. We're going to add the word freedom to the glossary.
Freedom, that's a big word, isn't it? It's a big word. It's used in so many, liberation. It goes with liberation movements. It goes with so many song lyrics. It
Right.
it goes with so much yearning. It's a big word.
It's a big word. It's a big word in Buddhism because it also points to a final stage of the path, often called nibbana, which or nirvana is more common word, but that's a type of awakening, liberation, enlightenment. So it really is. There's a lot written about it just within the Buddhist canons and texts.
And there's probably a lot written about it in our longings and imagination and hopes and fears and all that too.
Right, in the human race, liberation from shackles, from pain, from suffering. I mean, a common direction that Buddhism goes is that there's a kind of freedom from suffering, freedom from rebirth, freedom from anxiety, depression, the things that we suffer from. Again, we're back to suffering, but the things that pain us. And so when I first learned it, I didn't learn it just as the sole word freedom. I learned freedom from something.
And we came up with a different angle, which is not freedom from, but freedom within. Freedom is a process, not a fixed goal.
Right? Freedom within your experience, not from your experience. So it's a distinction of these little prepositions, but it makes a difference. Go ahead, Nellie.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, is what
Yeah.
I was about to say, because it's not like freedom within your experience is not like trying to change it and fix it and get out of it and move on from it. But it's really being in it and seeing how to be more free within the situations in our life. I don't believe, and this is, everyone finds their own views in this, but I don't believe I don't believe in complete freedom. I just don't believe in it. I think there will always be conditions that will restrain me, restrain us, pain us. But I think there can be more freedom within that.
More freedom within the conditions. And we've talked about it as what do we learn from conditionality? We all have conditionality. We have conditions that set up our lives that are similar, that are different. But when we stay with the conditionality of our experience, what do we learn from that? And that's the freedom often, is what we've learned from it. Not much maybe has changed, but we've seen more conditions. It's opened up something. It's changed our attitude. It's maybe changed the circumstances, but not always.
Right. And the freedom is in that, right in the subtitle of our book. How do we relate to it? And I think it's freer when we relate to it with more curiosity and more kindness. I think the freedom lies in that.
Yeah. And that we see especially in the way we have a reflection period after the meditation, which is that we have another go at our experience with a more kind and curious eye to it. And that that really gives us I would say, and you've talked about this before, Nelly, maybe it was just this morning when we pre-met before this meeting, but of a kind of relaxation that happens with freedom. There's
Mm.
some dropping of tension. You could almost feel your facial muscles relax when you
Right,
feel freedom.
right. Sometimes it's a sort of that more kind of energetic or bodily a knowing of it, actually. I'd say how we tune into it or know it. It might be sort of a relaxation of muscles, or it might be the sense of, in meditation, actually a sense of expansiveness. I feel like my body expands, um,
Mm,
that I get a sense of expansiveness. So it can be, and that's more meditative kind of experience of it. But it can take many forms.
hmm. Right,
And
right.
like we and like I said before, I think the greatest freedom lies in how we relate to any given experience.
Right. So we're, in a sense, not asking in practice that people give up striving, but know they're striving so that they relate to it different, so that things can drop or change or shift in mysterious ways. I mean, this kind of goes back to it's a mysterious process how conditionality operates. Like, there's a lot we don't know going on. And sometimes we're not even in touch with that because we become so caught in the conditions that we're ensconced in. So I
Hmm.
think I think this way actually opens up a mystery a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That made me smile. That comment opens up a mystery a little bit more. Yeah, that is freer to be able to
Ah,
be a mystery, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
not try to turn it into a whatever.
So we felt free this morning to go into some song lyrics about freedom, and
Well,
we hope you
actually,
think of yours. Okay, go
right.
ahead.
Oh, actually, we that's where the talk began, was
Yeah.
with these song lyrics, like because they just started ringing. We started the word freedom because it's in so many songs, and for me, so many songs that have had so much meaning to me in my life. So I'm going to start with many of our generations, uh, somebody we know and whatever have all kinds of feelings about, probably. Janis Joplin, but this is a very famous line: freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. And Linda, not of this generation, had a great take on that line. Go, Linda.
Well, Lee liked my take on it. But this to me, because I don't know her, the way that a different generation knows her, but freedom is another word for nothing left to lose, feels like it opens the door to risky behavior. When you have nothing left to lose, you're going to act with freedom, with impunity. I don't know if that's the right word, but in ways that, you don't have consequences so much if you have nothing left to lose.
And Janis Joplin's life and death speak to that very directly. So maybe we're sort of not agreeing with Janice here. We're saying that's not the kind of freedom we're going to buy into. That total, yeah. And who knows her real story?
Yeah,
But we're making some stuff up here.
you're right. We're riffing a little bit because the next people we went to, these are the Dixie Chicks. Now, this is my generation and my type of music. And they talk about needing wide open spaces and room to make big mistakes. And this really spoke to me as a younger person that grew up in a small town and had a very kind of small life, I would say, that I wanted more exposure, wanted to have the freedom to go and not have everybody know what direction I was going in and decide it for me, and room to make mistakes, not have to be perfect.
And then, not being of my generation, this song lyric made me think about how I feel about meditation. I feel like I sit down, close my eyes, and I'm wide open to whatever comes my way. Not completely, not 100%, not with complete abandonment like Janis Joplin, but more so. And I feel like, yeah, I can make mistakes in my meditation. I can imagine things that are not a good plan. Maybe I can know that, but there's room. It's not going to harm someone else or myself. I can imagine conversations that are would perhaps be harmful if spoken, but just spoken internally, it can lead to a kind of freedom.
Right. Right. And that we do have a lot of speech going on in our meditations, and what kind of speech needs to then come out from the meditation and be spoken skillfully. Skillful speech is a big factor of the path.
So should we do one more?
Okay.
All right. So I guess I pulled up my favorites. Nina Simone. I loved her music. I love her music. And the lyrics is, and I wish I knew how it would be to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say.
Yeah, you can hear the yearning and longing in her voice for freedom, the intention and aspiration for it.
Right. And as a Black woman in the 50s, 60s, 70s, I forget when she died, later on. Um, yeah, she had a lot to be free from. And when I heard her words, obviously I didn't have her experiences, but I knew that yearning. And I think it was part of what put me on the path.
And it is part of the path. It sounds like a very existential desire, to be free from something. This is what we're talking about. This does line up with Buddhism and freedom from a kind of shackle that she, bore
Yeah.
um, with her conditions.
So no doubt, there's song lyrics that are from your generation or from your choice and what you feel drawn to in music. You have your own song lyrics. We might have a whole different tilt on the glossary definition of freedom which we kind of wrote.
Which we played with, because again, we're really playing here a bit more, and the glossary is more of what kind of intuitively comes to you around the word freedom. What are some of your thoughts and feelings of it? How does it ring in your ears? And that's what we're curious about. We're kind of ending with that prompt of how would you talk about it?
Whose,
Okay,
whose turn to be a bell ringer, Linda?
I'll ring.